Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the Muhammad Al Sharif Daily Community Huddle. Thank you for joining us. If you're attending live, we're going to start in about 10 minutes. If you are watching this later on, you can forward 10 minutes because, technology. Say salam, where you're from. Salams, where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Salam. Zira Muhaji, wa alaikum assalam. Saima Munchie is in Michigan. When you got the munchies, I'm sure growing up in school, everybody made fun of you because of your last name, right? Nothing else will do. Mary Akbar, wa alaikum assalam. Asma, inshallah, I'm going to try to not cough today so you can see I'm doing all right. Yamama in Cleveland, wa alaikum assalam. Yasmina, wa alaikum assalam. Al-Madina in Bosnia, I remember, because Al-Madina, wa alaikum assalam. Somebody in New Jersey, Fura. Sigal in Ottawa, wa alaikum assalam. Representing Nurin from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Yes, I look like your brother, right? Roshanna Stellenboom. That's an awesome last name. Stellenboom from South Africa. Alaikum assalam. Hey, and we passed 100. Yay. Bina, it's 2:50 a.m. in Malaysia. Thanks for tuning in. Isra, alaikum assalam. Welcome. Hinsam in Hinsam in Qatar, alaikum assalam. Stellenboom says they're going into lockdown. We've already been in lockdown for like 2 weeks. Inshallah, may Allah keep you safe. Ernam in Canada, alaikum assalam. Wasafa, still in Hungary. Alaikum assalam. Farzeen, alaikum assalam. Sidra in Sydney. Alaikum assalam. Yazid is in Chelmsford, UK. That's such a posh name for a city. Chelmsford. Where are you from? I'm from Chelmsford. Seema's in Manchester. Maria's in Regina, Saskatchewan. Maria, I was thinking, if there's this global apocalypse, what would be the safest place to go? I thought, go to Saskatchewan because there's nobody there. Saskatchewan, out in the prairies. Saskatchewan is probably the third largest country in the world. It's so big. And there's nobody there. But you're in Regina, the big city. And Esmat says, I hope you don't cough. Oh, man. Listen, Esmat, all night long didn't cough. All day long didn't cough. I've been sitting here for 2 hours waiting for this time. I haven't coughed. But now that you're here, I will cough just for you. I'm trying to get the cough. Fatu Ali Sharif representing Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. Home of... Wait a second. Cottage... Is it Philly cheesesteaks? No. Pennsylvania is different then. Anyways, my brain is crushed. Raquel, Zida, Saad in Abu Dhabi. I usually start at the head of the hour, the top of the hour, and there's a lot of people here, so I don't know if I should just get started now or we just chill. Bilqis in London, Sadaf in Mount Everest. Are you seriously from Mount Everest? Seema Zishan says Chelmsford is posh. I agree. Ismail in Malaysia, wa alaikum assalam. Wasafa is still in Hungary, wa alaikum assalam. Wasafa. Maryam from the Swiss kids. Asia and Juju in Zurich. Beautiful country, mashallah. Nurin says it's past bedtime here in Dhaka, 1 a.m., but I love these reminders. Jazakallah khairan for tuning in. Sayyid Hafiz Ahmed Pasha in India, wa alaikum assalam. Raquel is in California. Welcome, Raquel. Naila Khan, Sarah Khan, from Troy. We got Hadi Sharif in Virginia. Lisa Muhammad Irvine, wa alaikum assalam. Ernam says, how you feeling now, brother? I'm feeling good, alhamdulillah. Shaheen in Missouri, Maheen in Pakistan. Pakistan. Saad Zafar says, I meant to say Abu Dhabi, the city of love. Sure. All right, Atlanta, Hudna in Atlanta. Yamama says, I am Ahem. I'm 8 years old. Alaikum assalam, Ahem. Shazia is watching with Asia, her daughter from Mississauga. Alaikum assalam. Zainab's in Nigeria. Alaikum assalam. Safiya is in Denmark. Alaikum assalam. Zubair in London. Sophia Khan. Alaikum assalam. Lisa says, mashallah, you're very uplifting. Thank you. Much admiration. I don't know how you keep it up. I store it until I get on camera, and then I go, boo! I just pop it out. And then after the camera's over, I do like that guy. Do you guys remember that video where the guy was taking a selfie and he was like that? Do you remember that one? So maybe I do that too. Smile on camera. And afterwards. Fariha in Greenville, Louisiana has tuned in. Nashia in Pennsylvania, alaikum assalam. Zaida in the UK. Radiya in Nigeria. That's a cool name, Radiya. The one who is pleased. Love it. Fadi, alaikum assalam. Shafaq says, please talk about depressed hearts. What do you mean depressed hearts? You mean somebody who's depressed? Depressed mind? Depressed emotion? Or a heart that is depressed? What does depressed heart mean to you, Shafaq? Dina says, shout out to my Zakaria 5-year-old, please. Hey, Zakaria 5-year-old, son of Dina Osman Sawan, how are you doing? And we all know that Zakaria is laughing right now. Adil Batti says, I give up. I said salam 3 times. Okay then. Seema says, is the window open? No, it's not. It's a garage. It's a garage. And that's the balcony of the garage. Nairobi, Suleiman, 3 years old. All right. It is 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Yeah, and Dina says that her son Zakaria is laughing. I knew he would laugh. We'll do shout outs at the end. Shout outs at the end. We're going to get started soon, inshallah. Here you go. Paras Khan said salam 3 times. I said salam 3 times. I don't know if my message is reaching or not. Wa alaikum assalam, Paras. Amatullah. Please say hello to Amatullah. Assalamu alaikum Amatullah. Zubair. Jazakallah khair. Top fan. Ernam. Everybody's good, alhamdulillah. Okay, let's get started. Are you ready? Top of the hour has come upon us. Let me untie this. Take 1. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala amma ba'd. Good morning, Vietnam. How are y'all doing out there? Inshallah. All right. Today's topic, we are talking about zipping your mouth. Shutting up. Let me start off with this story. This happened to me when I was still studying in university. So I was like like 20, 21, something like that. 21 years old. I was in Medina University. And there was a group who came for Hajj. Sorry, it was a Hajj, or maybe they came in Ramadan, but basically I was giving lectures to them, the Darul Hijra Intercontinental in Medina. Some of you might know the hotel, that's why I mentioned it. And we're in the dinner area, and I'm speaking, and afterwards people are sitting around chatting with me, asking questions. And I'm of the opinion, this is what we learn, and this is my opinion too, that you don't do extra umrahs. Like if you go for umrah, you went for one umrah, it's like one umrah per trip. One journey, one umrah. You don't just keep cycling through different umrahs, going to Masjid Aisha, coming back and forth. That's not what we were taught to do. You go for one umrah, you perform one umrah, that's it. So I kept encouraging people to do this, encouraging people to do it, only do one umrah. But the group that was hanging out with me after dinner, they were waiting really long, and they finally convinced them. There's a difference of opinion about the issue. They finally convinced me that please tell us how to do it. Please tell us how to do this extra umrah. So I said, finally, you know what? Okay, let me tell you how to do it. Even though it's not my opinion, but let me tell you how to do it. So I started sharing with them that step number 1 is you leave Mecca and go to Masjid Aisha. Step number 1, you leave Mecca and go to Masjid Aisha. And then as soon as I said this, there was this Egyptian uncle there. He got so mad at me. He exploded. He was like, okay, there's my cough. He got so mad at me, and he's like, what is this? What are you talking about? What is this nonsense? Go outside of Mecca, come back into Mecca, go outside of Mecca, come back. And I was shocked. I'm like, what just happened there? He was so mad at me. And he said, listen, Muhammad, you're this young little kid going around telling people that they need to leave Mecca to do an extra umrah. Where do you get these things from? And I'm in shock because everybody knows that's how you do an extra umrah. So I say to him, he says to me, Muhammad, you need to go home and check your sources. And then I say to him in response, like, I don't know who you are. I was still 21 years old at this time. I said, I don't know who you are, but you're the one who needs to go home and check your sources. It's not me that needs to go home. You're the one who's talking so confidently, and you need to go home and check your sources. So we got into this big debate, and I think he even walked off. Or maybe he stayed there and he just canceled that part and waited till the next part. But he was really mad at me. And as we know, if you want to do an extra umrah, that's how you do it. You have to leave Mecca and you have to come back. So this uncle brother, I say Egyptian because he's a good guy, alhamdulillah. And he's actually a really funny guy. Throughout the time that I spent with this Umrah group, he used to, every time I would be sitting in the lobby and he would pass by me, he'd look me in the eye and he said, Muhammad, did you check it yet? Have you gone and checked it? And he'd look at me like that. I'm like, you're the one who's wrong. You're the one who needs to go check it. So he kept doing this. And then one day he sat with me. Before he was going, either he was coming back from Salah or whatnot, and we sat in the lobby, and he put his hand on my knee, and he taught me a lesson that I'll never forget, and I've used it for my whole life. He said to me, Muhammad, he goes, in Egypt, the sheikh comes in Egypt, and he's very old. The sheikh comes and he has a very big beard. And the sheikh comes and that big beard is very white. And when the sheikh is asked a question, the sheikh always says, Wallahu Aalam. And Allah knows best. The sheikh always says, Wallahu A'lam. Allah knows best. And then he got a little closer to me and he said to me, Muhammad, don't ever forget to say that. I was like, dang. And I'm like, you're still wrong. You're still wrong. You don't know what's wrong. But I realized that throughout this whole activity with this uncle, this Egyptian uncle, I had never once said, Allahu Aalam. I had never once said that Allah knows best. And then from that time, actually from the lesson that this uncle taught me, I said to myself, I will never, no matter how certain I am of an opinion, I will never say something unless I say, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. And Allah knows best. And Allah knows best. And Allah knows best. It's very hard to say that. It's very hard to say that when you're holding on to an opinion with such conviction. You have so much conviction, you're almost afraid to say Allahu A'lam because it might, mess up with your conviction, or people might think, oh, you're not confident about what you're saying. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're always, this is the etiquette and the habit, is to say Allahu A'lam. Actually, just a side note, Imam Bukhari has a chapter in Sahih Bukhari. This is a side note. You never say that somebody died as a martyr. You always say so-and-so died as a martyr, insha'Allah, because you don't know. So you'd say, ash-shaheed, insha'Allah, so-and-so. Somebody died as a martyr, insha'Allah, so-and-so. That's just a side point. But I want to tell you here, and that is how to implement this in the times that we're living in, and so much communication is communication is exploding, and I think it's even multiplied and exponentially the amount of communications that you're receiving. And so it was really interesting. I actually got a text message right before I went live here, and the text message was from somebody in Canada who is Sri Lankan, who was sending a message that said that a certain ingredient in the Sri Lankan meals, some coconut something, turmeric or whatever, stops coronavirus. I'm like, well, that's good to know. Thanks. Tell all these vaccine people they just need to go out for Syrian dinner and everybody will be safe. All right. The guy didn't say Allah A'lam, even though it was spam. Here's my cough. So with all this communication that's coming in, I want to share with you guys, number one, that we have to make it our habit that no matter how convinced we are of our opinions, we should always say Allahu A'lam. If you're listening to somebody, I want you to start paying attention. Do they say Allahu A'lam at the end of their statements or not? And if they don't say it, then you need to be suspicious of that person. Suspicious in a good way, if there's such a good way. Suspicious meaning that this is a person who is saying things with confidence and doesn't say Allahu A'lam. So what does that mean? It means that this person is not humbling themselves to Allah's knowledge. I remember one sheikh, somebody said to an educated sheikh, they said, but isn't such and such against the sunnah? And the sheikh said in response, it's against the sunnah in your opinion. It's not against the sunnah. It's against your opinion of what the sunnah is. And we have to be really careful that our minds and our opinions are not Islam. Our minds and our opinions are Islam. Sometimes it does match up, and most of the times it doesn't. So what we need to always say is, Allahu Ta'ala A'lam. Allah knows best. And when you're listening to somebody, listen for if they say Allahu A'lam or not. If they're not saying Allahu A'lam at the end of their sentences, at the end of their statements, then you need to go, whoa. And this is another side point, I give speeches, and people ask me questions, and when I don't know something, I try to wait till I meet somebody knowledgeable, someone like Sheikh Walid Basuni, and sit with him and ask him these questions. Sheikh Walid Basuni is somebody that, I kind of compile questions together and I go to Sheikh Walid. Another person that I would go to before my brain crashes. I don't know why my brain is crashing today. Anyways, I'll tell you his name later. My brain has crashed because I'm on a train thought right here. So if you go and ask questions to a person and you find that they don't know the answer, but they still talk, even though they don't know the answer, then you gotta be suspicious. So I had this one question that was a real doozy. Like, it was a really difficult one to comprehend. And I would ask different people because I genuinely want to know. And most people off the top of the head wouldn't know the answer to this thing. But if somebody, I could immediately, because I know the question well, if I saw a sheikh that I'm asking and he's afraid to not talk, so he's saying stuff even though he doesn't know, I would rather the sheikh just say, I don't know. And done. Okay, great. Okay, well, this conversation's over. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go do something different. But if somebody keeps talking, even though they don't know, I used to say this in our Usul al-Fiqh class. If somebody's speaking and they say, I don't know, but, I tell them, forget the but. Just stop at I don't know. I don't know, but forget it. Just I don't know. Khalas. And move on, and people appreciate it, and they'll go, if you want to look it up, go look it up, and that person can find a proper source. But just talking just because you don't like silence, that's not something good. So saying Allahu Aalam, saying Allah knows best, I used to focus only on Islamic issues and say Allahu Aalam, Allah knows best for Islamic issues. If somebody asked me, what time is the bus coming? I would tell them, but I wouldn't say Allahu Aalam. Even sometimes I would hold myself back. I'm like, it's just a bus. Why would I say Allahu Aalam? But I've since, after years and years of kind of separating, this is a fiqh issue and this is a dunya issue, I stopped doing that, and now I say Allahu Aalam for everything. And I think this is very important right now because with this coronavirus, everybody's talking stuff about it. And like I said, some Sri Lankan coconut dish, and somebody is saying do this, and somebody is saying do that, with so much misinformation. And this is, you could say, even virus. I think it's even more pertinent that we all adopt this attitude of Allah knows best. Could you imagine social media if everybody on social media spoke and then said Allahu A'lam and Allah knows best, and they returned all knowledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is their opinion, Wallahu A'lam. Sometimes I see people who are so convinced of their opinion, and it sounds like it sounds like it's such a convincing argument, but then when I step back, I'm like, hey, wait a second, you haven't paid attention to this, you haven't paid attention. That's my fiqh mind going through. This person didn't say Allahu A'lam, and yet this person didn't say Allahu A'lam, and I can give them 3 ways that they're incorrect. And so and no matter how convinced, they're like, but this is what the Quran says. Oh really? What about this verse? Is that what the Quran says? And again, that might be at a higher level argumentation, but I just need you guys to understand, you need to listen to people that say Allahu A'lam, I don't know. And especially coronavirus, if somebody says, hey, you know what, this helps with coronavirus, and then they quote a ayah or quote a hadith, why don't they say Allahu A'lam at the end of that? Maybe there's something you missed. Maybe it doesn't actually help with this. Do you understand what I'm saying? That just keep going back and saying Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. When I was in Medina University, first year, so I gave you that earlier story, that's when I was 21. This one was when I was 17 years old. I was 17 years old, and I lived the whole North American Islamic community. We always talk, everybody's got an opinion. Just think of moon sighting issue. And that tells you what I was raised with. Moon sighting issue. Every topic was moon sighting issue. So when I went to Medina, I sat on a table with a couple of brothers, and it was lunchtime, and somebody asked a fiqh question, and this person started talking about that, and this person started talking about that, and all these guys that were talking so much were all freshmen. They were all, this was their first year. They actually weren't educated in Medina. They're just in Medina. They weren't educated there. They're still fresh off the boat, students from Western countries. Everybody's talking. But there was a Libyan brother there. He was small, timid, looked timid type of brother. He's sitting there on the side, and he was in fourth year university. He was in fourth year Sharia. Very, very knowledgeable brother. And I'm sitting there, you know how Muhammad al-Sharif is, always sitting back and watching people, quiet, watching. So I'm staring at him, and I'm listening to all this blah, blah, blah going around me. And this guy, who's the most knowledgeable on our table, is the most quiet. So I stopped everybody from talking after a while. I'm like, stop. This guy is fourth year university. If anybody should know the answer to this issue, it should be him. And so I asked him, what is your opinion on this topic? This is what he said to me, or he said to the group. He looked up from his food and he said, Allahu Aalam. He said, I don't know. And then I said, wait a second, this is like me coming from North America. It's the first time in my life I've heard somebody not attempt to answer a question, because we never keep our mouths quiet. We just keep talking, even if we don't know. And so I was really, really interested. You're fourth year university. You have more knowledge than all of us, and you're the quiet one? You're the one saying Allah? And he's like, yeah, Allah, I don't know. So I was in Medina for 6 years. 6 years, and I have my own Sharia degree. And you only get to that level when you study. You get to that level when you actually see that you don't know. Wallahu Aalam. And I'm sure that's why all these doctors outside are so angry about social media, because they're thinking you people don't know. You just need to keep quiet. All these different areas just say, please stop talking. Please stop. Please say Allahu Aalam. Please hold back. Please hold your tongue. Just say Allahu Aalam. Do I really know this topic or not? And you'll find that you do not. So just step back and say Allahu Aalam and let the people of knowledge speak. And that's it. That's a reminder for today. Wallahu Aalam. All right, folks. If you got babies sitting at home, toddlers, young children, anybody who would get a nice giggle out of getting a shout out from me, let's see if we can do 10 shout outs. I'll set it for 10 so that if we get past the 10 and I don't call on you, then you know that it was just a big stream down there that I never got to, so you don't feel bad. So who's got a kid at home that would enjoy a nice giggle? Otherwise, we are done. So if you want to step out. Miraj says, waiting for your salam. Give me the name, Miraj. Nurin says, so true. Samira says, Aiza and Zaid, my kids. Hey, assalamu alaikum, Aiza and Zaid of Samira. That's number one. Najla says, Yaman, who's in Saudi Arabia, and he's 3 years old. Assalamu alaikum, Yaman and Saudiya. We got Sadaf, Ali, Umar, and Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum, Ali, Umar, and Abdullah. We got Raquel, who's sitting at home with Noah. Hey, assalamu alaikum, Noah. Shazi Abbasi's got Aisha and Hafsa. Alaikum assalam, Aisha and Hafsa. What else we got? Mi'raj says, waiting. I need the name, Mi'raj. Please, give me the name. How about that? Asma Khalid says, for my children, Bilal, Sarah, and Fahad. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal, Sarah, and Fahad. How you doing? Sumaira has her daughter, Sumayya, sitting with her. Assalamu alaikum, Sumayya. Saloom has got Nisreen sitting at home. Are you guys from Syria? Nisreen is such a Syrian name. Alaikum assalam. Asma says, Sheikh, my Ayla. You know what, Asma? You know what you're going to need to do? You're going to need to send me a voice message of how to pronounce it. Because I know there's nothing more messed up than getting a shout out with your name pronounced incorrectly. So send me a voice note. Jasenia and Maryam in New York City. This is number 8. Sarah and Maryam. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey, Sarah and Mariam in New York City, stay safe. Go Rangers. Mi'raj, Hindustani. Assalamu alaikum, Rayyan. How are you doing, Rayyan? Assalamu alaikum, Rayyan. How are you doing, Rayyan? We got, that's 9, so this is number 10. Lisa Muhammad Irvine says, Mariam and Hannah are here listening. So, Assalamu alaikum, Mariam and Hannah. How are you doing? That's nice. Mariam and Hannah. And Naila's got Abna, Asma, and Maria. And that's it. We've done 10. Let me see if I can scroll down and just say everybody else's name. And we'll be finished, inshallah ta'ala. Homa, Rahma, Asma, Haya. Asma has got Haya at home. Saira, Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Yazid in that cool posh place in the UK. He's sitting with Fatima, Abdullah, and Abdurrahman. Assalamu alaikum. Zaida's got her son Abdul Muhaymin, Mu'mina, Abdul Jabbar. Alaikum assalam. Sophia. Alaikum assalam. Radiya is Aisha and Ali? Ali. Or Ali. And Sophia's got Abdul Rahman, Rayyan, Luqman, al-Zulqarnain, and Sulaiman. MashaAllah. I love it when people got like, hey, I've got 7 kids at home. Could you shout out all of them? That's so cute. MashaAllah. All right, guys, we're done. There's like 50,000 messages. Next time, inshallah ta'ala. I'll do 20 next time. All right, see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.